Market vitals, the levels you need to triage the market. We got it. We got a market stat. Matt, before we do anything price discovery wise, I'm in the Manja kitchen here, and I'm going to share quickly something everybody should know. I hate seeing this when people don't do this. All right. I hate seeing this. And that is not understanding when you sear, right? Like, and this is a pork tenderloin. There's 6 sides to it. Right? It's round, but there's actually, those are 2 sides. And then you gotta sear the ends. Like if you're not searing the ends, if you're not standing it up and searing the ends, you're doing it wrong. Right from the Manja kitchen, hot off the grill. Oh my God, was that pork tenderloin ridiculous? Anyway.
So you're saying the cube.
You got to cube it. Exactly. Everything's a cube. You start counting sides.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's this whole thread, Matt, that we're not supposed to take sides anymore, and everybody's supposed to be forgiven.
Can you give us a volume? Can you give us a volume on that? Like what that was?
What, Matt? I still need to talk to XSplit and understand why when I share a video, I can't get audio to go through. It's incredibly frustrating. Anyway, that's what I'm saying about that. Matt, let's talk about what are we talking about? Hold on a second. I got to get back here so I can leave the Matt, say something, and I'm going to leave the Manja kitchen. Talk to me about the rain out last night.
Another rain out. They said rain was coming, was going to delay the game, and it was coming all night. So they just had them stay in the hotel, I guess. So
because I am donning, Matt, my Manja TV summer softball league uni.
Right.
We haven't been in one yet, but next summer we have to be in one. Is there any Chicago? You know what I watched a couple nights ago was About Last Night.
Oh yeah, with the Chicago with the different size balls.
The 16-inch Chicago no glove softball.
Yeah.
Some of the grossest things I've ever seen on a softball field with no gloves. I've seen a couple of compound fractures with bones sticking out. Like the guy that shouldn't be playing baseball to begin with, and then he's going to play with no gloves.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Not a good idea.
I'm going like this just thinking about it.
Yeah.
Whoville.
It's kind of like the Michigan State players with taking their helmet and pounding the crap out of the poor.
I didn't bring the graphic in, Matt. Halloween's over. That was yesterday's news. Let's please move on. That's going to make it next. It'll be interesting for the first basketball game, right?
Yeah.
Because that will carry over onto the court.
For sure in Ann Arbor, and it'll. I'm sure the Spartan fanatics will have their own, negative version coming. It'll be something smart, and funny, and whippy. And next year's game at Michigan State, man, it's gonna be a scary one.
I think we should go. We should Manja tailgate there. Hey Matt, you shared this in the network. U.S. Federal Reserve total assets. We've been talking about this for a year, minimum, about how the Fed has blown up its balance sheet, and this is actually showing for the first time that we've talked about on this program that there's actually some capitulation, but some reversion back to their long-term holdings, which I think are. It got out to 8 trillion. I want to think that their long-term holdings were under $1 trillion.
Mm-hmm.
This is the law of big numbers. So if there's 8 trillion, right? Let's do some rough math. Mm-hmm. And they carved it by 242 billion. That's like a quarter of 1 trillion. Like I'm trying to do math here. Right. So it's a quarter of 1 of the 8, which doesn't seem to me like it's very much.
Well, it's 1/32, so we can call it about 3%.
All right. When I lose 3% of my body fat, it doesn't seem like it means anything. That's all I'm saying. All right, but they are trending. We have something trending
now,
in the right direction.
When Giselle loses 3% of her body fat, it means something.
Yeah, exactly. All right, man. We shared yesterday this 30-year fixed mortgage rates via Freddie Mac, over 7%, first time since 2002. And then you shared today this one, not the Fed, this one, the case Schiller. Thank you, Charlie. But anyway, let me get my fat elbow out of the way. San Francisco faring the worst And this is what, over the last 3 months?
Well, this is as of August. So the end of, the latest numbers that we have, right?
Okay.
So it's just through August. So we don't have September, October, obviously yet. But what you can see is the West Coast has been hit. Like the housing fallback is real. And it's the place that probably grows the most too, so, the fastest and gets out of there. So yeah, San Francisco's down 8.2, Seattle's down 6.9, and they peaked 3 months ago. So these markets all peaked, and we saw this, as we live here on the West Coast, we saw this and we were talking about it in May. This was not like, even though Ben was selling all summer, and Ben lags a year from all this. So what is happening here will happen in the smaller markets like we live in, and will continue and will be exaggerated because they are smaller. So you're going to have less buyers and more inventory, which it's great when it goes up and it's bad when it goes down because they're thinner, smaller markets. It's like playing small caps versus large caps when you're trading, right? It's no different. So know the market you're in and know that, if I was looking to buy and bend, I would be seeing this and go, I got to pause for.
Exactly. I mean, at least a year.
Like you shouldn't, or you should be coming in and saying, hey, listen, I'll offer you 10% off because that's where this market's going today. I can tell you because that's what San Francisco is doing. So
right on.
You can come in with that, but if you wait for another month, it's probably going to, another couple months. I bet you it's going to be closer to 20%. Again, these are such slow lagging numbers. So if this is through, if this is through August, we've got another 60 days that hasn't even shown up, and I think, again, I think you can see it just looking like in a simple Airbnb market, like when you're going to rent a house. In any of these markets, I had tons of choice and the prices were pounded down.
Not only that, you have the ability to talk to the person.
Yeah.
And tell them, hey, you're on there too. You understand that there's 30 other places available within 10 blocks of your place.
Exactly. Yeah. And all of them are empty. So do you want something?
Start negotiating, baby. Start negotiating. Start throwing out offers.
Yeah. So, with that, I thought we'd take a look at some of the, publicly traded names just to kind of go through Zillow. We've talked about this before and I've said it's going to go, it's got to go pre-COVID. Pre-COVID was 19. We've dipped as low as, I think we got a little lower than the 28s here. So, we're continuing down into that course to lower prices. I'm trying to see. I think we got a little lower. Maybe 20, 25, 26.
20, yeah.
So we kind of got in that range. So that is, working its way. Again, they have earnings tomorrow at Zillow. So we'll know more how that looks. They're expecting, 13 cents, 458 revs. Again, I wouldn't be looking to be a buyer right now. That's just me, but it could spike too. And if it spikes, I think
can you go on to a short? Let's shorten up on a time frame. Let's say they somehow finagle the books and have a hit.
They could trade. They could trade first level 33. We're sitting at 30 right now. So the low was right around 26, and the recent high here in the last couple months was right around 38. So. That could trade. That's possible that it could go there. And then I wanted to look at a broker, a retail house that trades publicly. Redfin was the one that I thought we'd look at since we have quite a bit of presence of them here out west. This thing, look at this, 98 from 9 COVID low.
Oh my God.
From 9 to 98 unreal. Back to 3. And this is well below the COVID low, right? They're sitting at 464 right now. So again, I would go into my Redfin broker and say, give them that little sheet that you said and listen, I'm going to offer 20% lower because that's where we're heading. It's just the price isn't even showing right now. So, and we're talking the all-time highs, right? So everybody's at all-time highs. They're still trying to get the all-time highs, but they're just prices that they're not going to see anytime in the next 10, 15 years. So you can kiss those goodbye, those types of wishes and hopes for getting your max property price. That happened already. And then let's look at the big retail or the big commercial brokers. We haven't looked at these in a while. CBRE, big obviously in the commercial space, selling transactional business. Again, they had a great COVID. 29 was the COVID low, all the way up to 120, a 4-bagger. And again, this is a $22 billion operation today, just getting back into value here in the 70s, right?
And they just had earnings.
They just might have them. They had them, a couple days ago, and they were not good. They missed by 10%. On the earnings side, they reported 113 versus the 1.25 guesstimate, and then the revenues were, again, off 218 million. So transactions have slowed down clearly, and that's happening there. CBRE does not pay a dividend, by the way, and I don't see why this can't trade down to the lower end of value as we just get into the value now, which is down here at 36. COVID low is 29. So you got both those references to take a look at. Jones LaSalle, Jones Lang LaSalle, another one similar looking, scope on this chart. Again, 78 up to we were trading 275. Again, a little bit smaller, about a third of the size again of CBRE. So these guys are much smaller, and they've got earnings coming up. Looks like tomorrow, November 2nd. They're expecting 4.73 per share and 5.14 billion in revs. We'll see what that comes in. Well, and then
do they pay any dividend out of that?
no dividend on this one either. And then finally, Cushman and Wakefield. Again, you're kind of seeing the same charts here, right? But this one's a little,
it's even weaker.
But it's the smallest of the three. So we kind of did largest down to the smallest. So you would expect CBRE, the big dog, to be hanging up there the best, and it is. It kind of gets so, but it'll also be the last to fall. And so I think you have better short opportunities probably in CBRE than Jones, than CWK. That's kind of how I see these playing out. CWK is trading 1165. COVID low is 7. So again, that's only a $2 billion market cap. So the smallest of the three that we put up there today, at least. So there you go.
Bingo. All right, Matt. I wanted to do two things, and let me get rid of this graphic first because we don't need it. Holy smokes. Okay, Schiller, goodbye. Let's talk just for a second about limited government, Matt. This is just, we all kind of thought this was going on, right? But this is, I think, far more calculated than anybody thought. How much suppression and how concentrated and calculated it was coming from government to private. The other one, and NGOs, like which NGOs does the government say, yeah, you can be in on these discussions too? Right. Because the whole thing, if the red wave does one thing, it better root this out, and we better get a much clearer definition of what the government is supposed to be involved in, because it feels like Pravda now. But
I find this again, kind of the way I like to think about this is I find it interesting that we're coming to this, a week before the midterms today, right? We're a week before everybody's, Biden is tweeting like a maniac. Like whoever's running this account,
he's not tweeting.
Whoever's running his account is like a maniac, and the lies are just prevalent and off the hook. Stop telling me that gas is down, from the all-time high. Well, since you took office, it's up 71%. So why don't you start there, and then we can talk. We can work backwards. But inauguration day, we were trading $51 a barrel. Today we're at 89. So Joe, it's like 71%. So suck on that and stop lying. but that's where we are. And so I think what's going to happen, whatever you want, blue wave, red wave, I think we're going to have a tie wave at the end of the day, and everybody's going to be even more stirred up and hate each other even more. That's what I see happening. I think this is all part of the plan. To your point, leak this out now, let them know that we've been, the people that are, intelligent and read the Intercept and read these, journalistic pieces that are proving and have the receipts to follow. Well, now what's going to happen when the red wave doesn't come, but it's not the blue wave either, right? So to me, it's all about Max Payne, and that to me seems like the Max Payne play.
That is for sure going to be the Max Payne.
But does that make sense? Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
you know, whether you want the blue or the red to win, I think literally nobody's going to win. And it's just going to be at a level of angst that just is unimaginable.
Hey, Matt, I wanted to bring back the monthlies, just to give these levels, since we rolled into the new month here. Monthly standard deviation modeling, and I'll go through the SPOOs. I'll go through the equities today. For me, like if this is an hourly chart, let me just say that, and you open above this momentum level and you start to rally, barely took out last month's high, and then falls back apart here. This is not a good look to me.
Well, it's again,
it's still early. It's one day, and I understand.
It's not even one day in. We have the Fed
Right.
meeting today and tomorrow, and yes, we gapped up and we hit a new high in the move, 39.27 or whatever it was. That's the new high. 39.50 has been my target. 39.50 to 40.50 has been the range. So I think we're still on track for that. I think the bull case is still solid. We'll see what happens. And again, I just think everything's telegraphed, whether it's 75.50 and we got another meeting in December. I just think that, I don't know. And again, we'll see, but I think you're going to have some two-way trading available to you. I mean, look at Friday, right? Straight up one way. Yesterday was totally locked inside, didn't really go up or down. And then last night they take them up overnight and then they just cram them down on the open. Supposedly it was up on, China getting rid of all the lockdowns that they've been in for 3 years.
But I thought they just locked down.
Well, that's why it also sold off, because who gives a crap? What is that?
All the workers at Foxconn, like building your Apple device, locked into the factory.
Right.
You don't get to miss your shift, but you can't leave.
It's like it's the hotel. It's the hotel Foxconn. Exactly.
All right, Matt. I wanted to share this though. Back here. The average 41.80 now on the monthly for that upside target. 41.80.
Mm-hmm.
The NASI didn't take out that momentum level. 11.686 now. 11.686 is that momentum level. And then room out to 13-ish, 13.268, something like that. Russell average, let's just look at that. So you have it 19 something, 2105. 2105, and the Dow opened right near that average at 37. No, can't be. 31,473. No, can't be. 3306, 33,060, 33,060. And Matt, the way I like to think about standard deviation modeling, no matter what time frame you're looking at, and this is a good exercise here on the monthly, is that if it takes out any level, then the next level above or below becomes the next magnet, the next target.
Mm-hmm. That's
kind of the potentiality that I look at when I look at standard deviation modeling, no matter what time frame it's on. So in the Dow Jones, if we could take out 33,060, then the next target over the month, as it stays healthy, should be up here, 34,647.
This is a monthly. So, but the way I look at a chart like this, like we in the next 30 days, if we don't, what's the red line below that we just can't, shot above? What is it?
This one here or down here?
Yeah, the one right there. Mm-hmm.
3161.
If we touch that,
31,614.
Okay, so the way I look at these types of bars, like you can't touch the line; you have to clear it completely, right? So none of these have done that. To your point, like
I get that. Yeah, right, exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So this one is opened above it, but if it comes back and hits that line, it's decayed again. Done.
Okay.
So,
perfect.
So we won't even know till the end of November whether or not that happens, right? So if you're a monthly trader, like for example, a buy signal for you would have come on that red candle back there in 20 sometime.
Here.
Yeah. No. Keep going. Like I'm just looking at the same line, which is that second red line.
Okay.
So
right.
No. Like January or September of 21.
This one here.
No. Forward. Right there.
Right on.
That's the one before that actually is the one that would have been the buy signal. And then you buy the test there at, 2,600, 26,000 or whatever. So that's kind of how I look at that. And that obviously went all the way up to 36,000. So it gets you in later. You're not going to catch a bottom ever with that type of strategy, but it also gives you a safety net below you. And again, this is just simple price action. There's no market profile loaded onto this one either. So
and then since we're sticking on the monthly here, long term, again, back to the Dow, back to the 30-year that we talk about all the time, still falling away potentials on the standard deviation line, but that momentum level now back up at that 130 level. I think that becomes a giant area. I know it's a giant area on the profile. 130, I think, is going to be a major argument in the bonds on any strength going forward. Going forward.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
All right, Matt, what else do you, I wish we could trade government censorship. Like, I wish there was a trade on that, because I think
I think ultimately it will be the US dollar. And
yeah, you know what? I know that's you tweeted that again. Yeah, bring
the US dollar when the weakness comes back in will, or when the majority of Americans finally are like, I've had it. Like, this is like, I'm pissed, like Bob is pissed, right? When they start doing that, yeah, then it'll be time to short the dollar, and that will be, the fork that's in it. So as far as the dollar looks right now, it's been bullish, and I'll start with a shorter term chart just so you can see it. We peaked here at the end of September, 114. We've made 2 lower lows since, or lower highs, excuse me. And we did make a new low down there at 109.38. We're in the value zone on the short-term chart. Again, why wouldn't we try to come back to the breakout zone, possibly 105? That would be I'd love to buy big down there with a tight stop below that. But, this area 105 to 107 would be probably, it looks likely. But as far as like the long-term nature of this, Bob, not much has changed. And again, that's that the idea that when the government is exposed, like they're starting to expose it, that will come into play maybe when we're down here at 99 again. But that's still a long way from 99 to 0 if nobody's buying your dollars anymore. So, and if that, and again, I could see a situation where this could be falling. The bonds could be falling and equities could be going up. I still could see this situation happening, and I think nobody really wants to consider that type of.
No, exactly. It's the outlier that was right there in front of you. Well, all these dollars have to go somewhere.
Yep.
And so they go into the stock market. In hindsight, it will be, fuck, how did I not see that?
Correct. So I'm just again.
But again, Matt, you're never going to miss these things if you're a diligent watcher of the charts,
right?
Like you do that, like that dollar chart, it does not make higher highs unless it's closing above a standard deviation level. Like those two things have to happen, and so you won't miss it. And the longer you marry your opinion when it's counter to what the profile and what standard deviation modeling is telling you, the quicker you're going to be flipping burgers. And that's not a bad thing, because we need people to flip burgers. Let's just say that. Yeah, clearly.
Well, and you start, you go out to the long term, the weekly chart, and you can see here, it's not like it gets pretty clear. Like, it's a lot easier to see on, like if this was a 1 minute chart, you'd be like, okay, this might be topping, but it's not there yet, right? That's what you'd be saying to yourself. If you were intraday trading, this was an intraday chart, it already had broken out, and went 14 points here, and then basically this suggests another 14-point move here, which takes you somewhere up to like 17, 18. So we haven't even gotten there. We may need to get there first. 120, don't forget, 120 was like that old high, or the recent high, 121, almost 122. So that's possible. That's possible that comes too. So nothing has changed in the monthly or the weekly charts. Granted, you're not trading these every day, but just the long-term trend is still, like, you should know there's no hurry here. When you finally get a break below, you'll know. And again, nothing has changed here, Bob, at all. So 109.38 is the first level, 107.66 is the next one. really, you're going to have to get below 105 today to be, anywhere kind of bearish. So we're bullish. It's still, nothing's changed. So I just point that out but at some point, since you brought it up, that might be the trade, would be to short the dollar. When full confidence of the US government is gone, the dollar collapses. That's when gold goes up. And not until
Yeah,
then.
I just saw the first time in history, somebody posted yesterday again, everything on the show is guaranteed probably. Guaranteed probably, but the share was the first time in history that gold has made a lower low 7 months in a row.
Yeah.
So careful about being a bug of any sort, because you're going to get eaten. And
yeah, I mean, we can look at it. We haven't looked, since we're talking about the dollar. Let's just look at it real quick, and I'll again, it's not going to be like a mirror or anything, but this is a weekly chart. And again, it's falling back into.
Bring it up. We don't see it.
Oh, sorry. So 1621 was kind of the most recent low, but when that goes again, looks like to me, you're in this zone here again, 1766 all the way down to 1200.
I got to tell you something. If that was a hog spread that I was involved in and it was supposed to be a bullish spread, I would be terrified holding that position. That chart looks absolutely god awful. To think about the amount of time it spent making that bracket, and now everybody in there that's a bug is holding it.
Yeah.
How big does that exit door have to be when they all say, you know what, this just really isn't working out for me? I think I want to go home now. I mean,
yeah, 1500, will be the next level. That's like the key level right in here. So that's another 10% from here. And then, again, it'll trade around down to 1455. And then when that goes, then you're looking at 1355. And then you're looking at the point of control down here at 1277. COVID low is 1451. We haven't even gotten there. So again, everything's kind of following the narratives. COVID lows need to be hit. They like, who has hit the COVID lows? Well, Facebook has. It keeps going. It's up today. It's got a little bounce, but that took out the 138 harshly. I mean, so again, if one of the biggest companies market cap wise in the market can trade below the COVID low, why wouldn't everything else? Why? What's so good about everybody else's business right now? Maybe Meta, Facebook is just, the first one to do it. But, this is getting kind of interesting on a weekly chart, isn't it? If you can get down here, maybe to 80s.
What he has to do is start paying a dividend. That's the trajectory here, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. But
start.
Again, you go to the all-time nature of this chart. The point of control is still down there at $25. So
accessible now when you look at it.
Anything is possible.
Accessible. Accessible price discovery.
So be
Hashtag
careful.
That shit.
Yeah, so this made another new low down here. Where do we get down to like 92s yesterday, 92.43. Little bounce today, trying to get off the bottom. And it has been, it's been almost a week since the earnings came out last Wednesday. So tomorrow's a week. So it's still filtering out what it needs to filter out, but no sleep till Brooklyn there.
Bingo. All right, Matt, I'm going to share. Whoa. Let me share this hog spread. All my ag folks. I got to keep my ag folks happy. Matt, this is one of my favorite spreads to trade of the calendar cycle in the hogs. It's a silly one. All right, June, July hog spreads. It's 1 day or 1 month apart on the delivery schedule, meaning especially as hog prices generally peak somewhere June, July, and August, somewhere in there. You're talking about relatively, from my standpoint, it's the same product. And so the difference here becomes just what the open interest in the roll cycle is going to deliver. And so right now, the June is 90 cents under the July, and it could go out to anywhere. I mean, I've done this spread out at $2, June, $2 under July. Again, a function of especially commercial and hedgers positions. My point is here, at some point here above $1, between $1 and $2, You got to put on June, July hog spread, long to June, short to July, and let the nature of the roll cycle work for you, because this spread will, especially in the next 2 roll cycles, you will see this guaranteed, probably, you will see the June gain back on the July, go back to par, and possibly even go back over by the same amount. And you've seen it, it's happened a couple of times now in this chart, right? From
Yeah.
$1 under to $1 over. And again, nothing to do with fundamentals, everything to do with just the positioning of commercials and the roll cycle. And it's on the radar again here. Anything over $1, $1 to $2, buy in June, sell in July. And right now via the chart, you got room out to $1.35 to $1.50. I'd be patient out to that level to begin with. Understand that it's $400 a dollar if this thing goes against you per contract. All right. So if you bought negative 135s and it goes to negative 235, that's $400 for that dollar. Just so you know what type of table you're sitting down at, which it's so important. And people get in trouble a lot of times not understanding what's the dollar amount of the move that you're anticipating being wrong first, because
Right.
you have to know that. You got to know, what am I risking here?
Right.
You know, well, I want to risk $400. Okay, then you can put a 1 lot on, right? And it can go $1 against you. That's your $400. Understand that. Understand the metric before you get involved. And a good way to do that, Matt, is to have a paper trading account at some place, because you can put these things on in a paper trading account and it actually shows you the margin and the risk involved.
Right.
Something that I've dabbled with over the years also, just to make sure that I understand something before I start trading it.
Yeah, and I also make spreadsheets of all the futures that I trade, and I put in, like based on kind of the true range of the product currently, whatever time frame I'm trading. Right, I adjust my sizes based on, there's always formulatic ways to deal with leverage and margin depending on the market condition you're in. So that's something to consider also. And when the market's tight, you don't want to be trading big. When it's wider, you can trade a little bit bigger, because things, which seems counterintuitive, I know, to people, but when things are wider, you're going to have an opportunity to leg in maybe into a range, and the ranges are bigger. So maybe your first leg is an options play before you get into an actual future. So you selling out of the money. If you want to get short, you sell way out of the money, and then if it goes higher, then you start selling some futures into it. But there's a lot of ways to build into a position and manage it that way. And I think it's wise to, like you said, set yourself up at the table, as you like to say, so you know what you're playing and what the margins look like, and then do the math. Like, if it goes here, how much do I lose? If it goes here, how much do I lose? If it goes here, how much do I make? Right. And that way you're prepared when it is beginning to do the things that it is, which is discover price. And as price discovers, you have a plan then to make the next execution, whether it's a buy or a sell. I've seen it on a lighter subject here. They're really pushing for Dodgeball 2. It seems to be Ben Stiller's the missing link. I saw that Vince Vaughn was in, and now Justin Long says he's in. So the studio heads are hungry, and they want this.
Oh,
so
nothing on their plates, obviously.
Nothing, right?
Nothing's on your plates. All right, man. We do it every day for a while anyway, and so let's do it today. And I got a good one. We're gonna free spoke that shit. I want to know, what is the longest ski season in North America?
Well, it would have to be Hood, because it's open year round. Although it could be something in Canada too.
All right, I like this. It's giving you articles.
Mammoth.
Wait a second though. Why? All right, free spoke. How come there's only left-leaning articles on ski seasons?
Because interesting. Right?
That is interesting, right? I bet it has something to do with climate change and the fact that we're not going to have a ski season ever again. I only say that, Matt, because right now, I actually thought it was our local resort, Mount Bachelor. It's got a long ski season.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and let's just go up to the mountain and check out what's going on. It's blowing. It's blowing. Man, slow internet today. Just brutal. Look at that. Huh?
It's coming in.
Gorgeous. It's coming down. Getting a base. Getting ready. I'm getting ready for ski.
Oh, wait, the chairs are running even. Whoa, they're getting
Yeah,
ready.
yeah. They're getting ready. They got something's going on. All right, Free Spoke. Thank you. Thank you for giving us left-leaning ski season reporting. That only tells me that if we write something right-leaning, that we're going to be trending on freespoke.com. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. All right. All right, Matt. Anything else?
No,
Baseball tonight.
Baseball,
rained out
baseball's
last
been
night.
very good to me, and will continue tonight at Philadelphia. Game 3 supposedly supposed to happen.
Matt, I know we said that the last 3 times they won the World Series, we went into a recession. I was.
We didn't say. I mean, it wasn't. We didn't do the homework on that. Everybody's been posting that, but we're just following along. Yeah.
But not only that, the last 3 times they did, they also had a rain out. So it's spooky. I know we're past Halloween and we're supposed to be past the spooky, but the cycle seems to be intact on many levels. Anyway, this ain't your 2008 Phillies or bear market. Anyway, we shall see.
I'm going to throw this one out at you. You don't know what's coming your way, so I want to get your reaction. Crypto world. Now they're whatever maker DAO is, this is your world, not mine. He dies at 29.
Well, did he die or was he killed?
Well, doesn't really report much here, but interesting.
In the clown world that we live in now, police are cartooned.
Right.
Yeah.
So he was one of the people in the early days of Ethereum. So there you go.
He's got to have a lot of money then. A lot of money. It's terrible to die with a lot of money and in your 20s. That is not bueno.
No.
All right, Matt.
No
Anything
buenos.
else? Nets fire Steve Nash. We got like 5 games into the season. The Lakers haven't won yet. So LeBron.
Neither of the Pistons. The Blazers are playing well. The Portland Blazers.
Oh, the Lakers won last night then.
They finally won? Okay, good.
They got off to Schneid.
Gotcha. And that game last night, the Brown, the battle of that state.
Never saw a play.
South of Michigan. Yeah, who would want to watch, the battle of oh, great. You guys can spell.
Wait a second. The chant is the rock band saying, "Hello, Toledo. You're not Detroit."
But you're close.
Like Toledo's not even as bad as Detroit. I gotta tell you, I'm very fond of what's happening in Detroit. I mean, there was nowhere to go but up. And they're clawing back, Matt. I told you I was there for a wedding, and to see somebody pour several $1 million into a steak and seafood joint where the 2 of the 4 corners are still boarded up houses.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, man, that is the American spirit, though. Let's just call it what it is. That is the American spirit. Like I know things are down here, but I'm gonna take a chance. Take a chance. Anyway, that's what I got today.
Tonight is also the first college football playoff rankings. Tonight is the first one, so it's all been.
And I clarify for me.
So now there's still 4 teams that they're going to pick into the semifinals. So
wait a second. So they're this year's playoff is still only 4 teams, correct?
Yeah, I think next year will still be 25. They might go to the 12-team playoff. So we got the subjective BS with
that is crazy, especially a year like this year where there's so much talent at the top.
Yeah, and they're talking about, there's still a possibility. They were talking about it on game day last week. There's still a possibility you could have 3 SEC teams, right? You could still get Bama, Georgia, Tennessee, and there's an argument to be had there if some of them work out. Lee saying 26. So yeah, we got.
I mean, that is 26 is forever.
So,
from
so we
now.
got
Like,
23, 4, 5. We got 4 more years of this same old 14 crap, which sucks because I mean, why don't you just flip it immediately? Oh, because of legacy businesses. And again, legacy businesses are dying. The poll system dies. It's a whole different thing when this goes away, right? So that's why they're keeping it alive, because those guys got to get their, if you're the director of the Cotton Bowl, you get $1 million salary for sitting up there and doing this.
Matt, speaking of cotton, bring it up
Yeah.
because bring it up seriously, because I've been on my Twitter feed, which has a lot of ag folks. And the quote, the tweet that I said, "Don't be so comfortable in your beans. Take a look at the cotton chart." And I was wrong, by the way, beans corn chart. I want to point that out.
I don't think I don't have this turned on. I can't give you a chart.
Hold on, let me see if I can.
CT, I just don't think I have it turned on. Sorry. I don't trade cotton like Tudor Jones. Yes, Steve Nash. Where was he?
All right.
Brooklyn?
Oh my God. You want to talk about all right, I'm going to share it.
Please.
Let me share on it. And this is the weekly, and this is Deese Cotton. Holy shit. It goes from 77 cents in a leveraged futures contract all the way up to $1.32 down to 72 cents. That is some wickedness. And we talked about,
So what is that? I mean, I don't know why.
Well, I mean, there's a harvest, so it must have been bountiful. But I think, we looked at Levi's about a month ago.
Yeah.
We did look at this chart on this first break about a month ago.
And then it bounced.
And then it bounced and
filled the gap.
It did. It tickled the gap. What a violent. I think you can buy it now. Here, you buy it now, Matt, and then if it goes lower, you just take delivery and make your own blue jeans. That's what I'm saying about cotton. So Levi's apparently is going to have half off on their cotton side of the business, unless they had a rookie that hedged up at $1.20 on their forward contracts, which he'll be fired like Steve Nash. Good news, I locked in $1.20 cotton for 2023. Anyway, it's a whole nother side of the business that we never talk about.
Yeah.
Cotton. All right, Matt.
Tudor Jones. By the way, I will talk a little bit about nat gas, because we said, when it pulls off, take a look at it again. And I think we're getting close. Like that 550 level is attractive to me. We're trading 568 right now. 550 is down here. You can see the point of control here over the last couple of weeks. Again, we went from 470 to 640, right? That took, what did that take? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. And now, we're pulling back. So we're pulling back to this 550 level. And I think this lower end here probably can be bought with a pretty, tight stop. If you buy, say, 550 and stop somewhere below, I don't know, 520 probably. Again, it's not that's still a large range. So be aware again.
Yeah. But they do have micros in the natty.
Yeah.
For sure, which is a tenth of the risk and reward available in the full size contract.
Right.
All right, Matt. Happy All Saints Day, and we will be back tomorrow.
Holy day. It is a holy day. I'll see you at Mass.
Absolutely. MarketVitals.io is the location for our community. Amazon.com to get the Manja Shrimp Mojo. That's it. That's what we got. That's what we got.
How are your Broncos starting out in the college hockey season?
You know what? I don't know. I did share. Did you share that? You shared with me the kid shooting the puck.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Well, that kid has, there's all these TikTokers that do all their little things, but big skills for sure. Big skills.
I sent it to my nephew, who actually played at Western Michigan University, was a Bronco.
Right.
One of the great things I've ever seen. He's playing goalie for the Broncos. He's on the bench. All right. They're playing Michigan. I don't know if you know this, but Western Michigan has had a hockey arena that seats about I don't even know how many, a fair amount though, right? And it's great. It's packed. It's great college hockey atmosphere. So they're playing Michigan, packed house, and there's a play up the boards, right? And my nephew, and not only is the play coming up the boards, but Western Michigan is right in the middle of a shift change, right? So the play's coming up the boards. My nephew's at the door, right? So he opens the door for the Western Michigan guy to get onto the bench. Well, it was also as the Michigan guy was chasing the puck up the boards with another Western Michigan guy chasing him. And the Western Michigan guy gives all this is all at the same time. The Western Michigan guy comes onto the bench. The other Western Michigan guy gives the Michigan guy a little forearm
cross check,
a little cross check as the door opens. So then he fucking hits square into the open door. Right. So it looked like a complete cheap shot. And it looked like my nephew did it on purpose. Like he's coming up here. The bench is nearly cleared. It was pandemonium. And he was like, I swear to God, wasn't even looking at the play. I was looking at the guy coming to change, and I was just opening the door for him. Next thing he knows, there's 4 people on top of him in the bench. There's punches flying. Great stuff.
Well, I wanted to just show you the early season polls. They've already played like 3 or 4 weekends. So they've got about 8. Most of the teams have about 8 games because they play 2 a weekend. Michigan is, number 1, Bobby, number 1 again. DU was number 1. They got upset last week and were knocked off. The one thing that's kind of interesting here is look at receiving votes. The next one in is Arizona State. Did you know that the Pac-12 had
I had no idea.
Yeah, so they had this guy donate a bunch of money, I don't know, 10 years ago, and they have for the whole, just for the hockey program. And you know what? The kids want to go there. Why wouldn't they? They want to go see the babes in Tempe.
Are you kidding me?
Versus Bemidji State. Like, would you rather be in Bemidji State or Arizona State if you were like a kid from, I don't know, Edina, Minnesota, right? I mean, where would you rather go? I mean, and they have a nice facility, and again, you're out, you're skating, but then you're outside in 95-degree weather.
Yeah.
That's a story there, and I like that story. But it's interesting. Western's down here, number 18, 5-4. They probably played Michigan early and lost 1 or 2. But this is the same thing. We lost to DU I think in the finals last year. So here we are again, like power versus power. Minnesota, St. Cloud, UMass, the typical powerhouses there. North Dakota lost to Arizona State. So again, I bring that up because they're sneaking in there. They're sneaking in. Watch out for the Arizona State. What are they?
The only problem with them is by the end of the season, the amount of traveling that they will have done versus.
I think they get a lot of people to come to them actually, so it works out well.
Oh, okay.
I think that's kind of the other thing. People want that stop. They want to get out of Bemidji and go play Arizona State. So it's kind of an interesting piece of nugget there that I just thought I'd throw out for you.
All right, Matt, thank you so much. Great show again today. Please share it wide, retweets if possible. Free Spoke, please give us a little retweet love. And we will see you tomorrow, Matt.
All right. Over and out, Bobby.